And this is what I'm loving because of my excitement of working with you, because this is all about the energetics. It's not about the food. It's not about the exercising. It's those are, and you have the tools and the understanding and the knowledge of the 3D realm and the 3D body and how the body works and how to keep it healthy and how to move it so you don't get hurt, which is why I'm so excited to work with you. And something else I wanted to say was talk about now, and then we'll dive into what your program is that you have coming up, because I've done every diet under the sun you could possibly imagine. I used to exercise myself to death. And now I went to the other extreme where, and it was funny because I was talking to some people recently and I was like, you know, I'm really ready to release weight. And they're like, why do you want to lose weight? And they were really confused. And I was like, because I need to lose weight. And they're like, oh, we just thought you were confident. So that brings me back to this point. Fear of being in a body you love. Fear of being in a body you love. And what does that mean? And I can tell you, for me, like when they said that, I was like, are they telling the truth that they think I'm confident and why do I want to lose weight? Or is there an intimidation factor in there of, no, we need you to stay the safe friend that's, you know, that you're not doing these things. You're not in this realm of, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, because it's a reflection. And so that's why I have it like the feminine dark blackness is back there. And this is the masculine energy. Because it's like, I don't want to get into like so much of like the ascension stuff, but like when we are the full package, when we can master the non-physical and the physical, we're a threat to anybody who is not emotionally regulated. And like that's like the short cut and dry like reason why. But when we like, there's this song, Joe Rogan, 𝗀𝗲𝗄 is a producer and he mixes a lot of really great lectures. And he mixed some talk that Joe Rogan was saying. And he said, I became someone I was afraid of. And he was talking about when he was a kid, he was always the smallest kid, really skinny. And then he started doing jujitsu. And then before his senior year in high school, he was being flown all over the world at jujitsu competitions and like knocking people out. And so he's like, then I'd go back to school and then like I became the kid everybody was afraid of. And like all he was trying to do is not get his ass kicked every day. So it was like, I listened to like all man stuff when I was rehabbing my body with light bodybuilding last year before I got into like real bodybuilding. And I listened to just all this like masculine mindsets of like, you have to choose what you want. And so anyway, so what I kind of feel like is that part of it is when you're becoming the person you're afraid of and you're choosing yourself, if you had the self-avoidant, like we're all like, if we have problems, we're self-avoidant. If that's, there's no way around it. If we have problems in any area of our life, there's a part that we're avoiding ourselves and we're codependent on that thing to make us feel a sense of completeness. Hands down, that's the end, like done with the podcast, right? So when we want to change something in our body, in any area of life, but like especially with the body, because that's the thing like that revolves around culture with eating and drinking and socialization. When we're making choices for that might mean no to somebody, and they are using you as their codependency thing to make themselves feel complete or better or siphon your energy and stuff because they're energy vampires, whatever. When we choose ourselves in those moments where we're like, actually, I can't go out because I got to wake up early because I got to go to this class. Actually, I can't go out for cocktails because it's not really like fitting my macros right now, or I'm just cutting back a little bit. Every time that you say no to something or someone else to say yes to yourself, you risk being outed from the socialization. And on a primal level, if we're not in a social container as a social species, on a primal level, it means that you die if you don't have your tribe, because you die by the elements, by another tribe, or by animals. So there's the primal fear that goes off in the amygdala, I don't know what it is, the back part of the brain, the oldest part of the brain.
The amygdala, the fight, flight, or freeze section of the brain.
Yeah. So that triggers because on the body's physical primal level, if somebody doesn't accept you, that means that you will die. And even though that's not really going to happen, that mental, emotional structure, because it's all things, it's all like energetic gears, that thing starts to fire. So then you slip into the codependency stuff and you're like, oh yeah, no, I won't do that. So it's, and then like the other part of it, like as far as like being the mirror, if you become the full package and somebody looks at you and they energetically, unconsciously, their parts that they could be if they chose themselves are magnified, like, oh shit, this is the person who I could be, they don't like that feeling. And because they're focused on you and the feeling is happening, they assume that it's you that's causing their discomfort. Yes. But it's the mirror.
I love that so much. And woo, that really kicked up so much old stuff like that I'm conscious of, that I can now choose to go in and heal. And one of those for me was the belief, this feeling of, I don't want people to look at me. Like this was, for me to start being on camera and, you know, showing up has been really hard. And in fact, I called that part of myself Heidi. I gave her a name and I spelled her H-I-D-E-Y because she just wants to be like, don't look at me.
Yeah.
Right. And, like, and the lie that was perpetuated with that too, Lauren, was, oh, I like being the person who's behind the scenes, who builds the stage for other people and does all the things so that they can be in the spotlight. And I've done that for so many people over the course of my life, made people millions of dollars, where I'm like, no, the truth is I'm too scared to be that person. I'm too scared. And so now it's like with this work, and for me, it's been like, I've done the emotional work, but this is the deeper emotional work, because this is stuff that's epigenetically stored in the body. This is stuff that's been programmed in the body. And this is what I wanted to say about the programming of the body, because you called it a book. But in essence, it's really, I call us, we're walking, talking crystalline memory sticks, because every cell in us is surrounded by a crystalline structure, and we know that crystal holds memory. That's why they use it in computers. And that we are literally, all of those, the way that I see it in my mind's eye, or that I saw it when I was in a meditation, was that every epigenetic, or every experience that we've had that locks a feeling in the body, right? So we have the brain releases 300 neuropeptides. We're a neurochemical factory, right? So every time a neuropeptide gets released, the way that Dr. 𝗀𝗃 explained it was, it's like a lock and key function. And so it's got these different shapes, and then they lock onto your cells and they lock in and they're stored there. And so I see it as being a cymatic vibrational imprint, like, because I work with sound and understanding cymatics. And when I work with drums, or I work with sound and I play with frequency, and you can see the cymatics in water. You can see it in a non-Newtonian fluid, which is how I like to look at them, because you can see them really clear. That I visualize, like, that's the shit that's locked and stored in my body. And for me, it's that memory, it's that feeling of, I don't have to be in my body. My body is not a safe place to be. I can be all in my head. I can just think about things. I can analyze things. I can just be a witness to life, rather than a participant, a full participant in my own life. And so that's why, for me, like, when people are like, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to get in shape? You're just so confident. I am confident because I super duper love myself. And now I want the package, the body that I'm in. And it's not so much that I look great in a bikini. I did that in my 20s. I did that in my 30s. I exercised to death and ran around being a Bud Light girl and walking around half naked, right? It's more about, now it's more about healthy aging for me, and aging gracefully, and being that when I'm 85, I can still be like, hey, who wants to go dancing, right? And still be able to go and do those things. So for me, it's the body freedom. I love what you said, the fear of having your great body, because I could feel that tremble up, like conjure up so much in me. Like, it actually makes me shake, just honestly feeling it and thinking about it. Becoming someone I'm afraid of, and having that attention, especially being, growing up, being molested, being raped when I was a little girl, that has always been like, oh, I'm going to wear big boxy clothes, and I don't want anybody to look at me and notice me for my body. But now it's like, not about noticing me for my body. It's doing it for me. I don't give a shit what you notice me for. That's none of my business, right? And now I'm at that point of, it's none of my business. My business is to be my most authentic self. And my most inauthentic self is when I'm hiding behind a bag of freaking Oreos, to be perfectly honest. That's when I'm being inauthentic. I'm being inauthentic to me. So my answer to my own question, how willing am
Yeah.
I to be in the discomfort of this? I'm very willing to be in the discomfort of this. And I'm so excited and to work with you. And I'm so grateful that you took the time and applied these two worlds that you have such a beautiful understanding of and wove them together in this freaking awesome system that you've put together. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, or well, anything you want to add that you feel like you didn't add. And then the second thing is tell us about your program and how people can find you, because you're just freaking awesome. And by the way, I've watched Lauren cut, like you already had a cute little body, cute little figure, but you said for you, it was, I want to look like a superhero. So I watched you get ripped and cut, and I'm like, damn girl, you are doing the work. You are doing the work. You are showing up when you don't want to show up. You are doing the work. So share with us, like, anything else you feel like you want to share, and how people can find you and sign up for your very affordable, ridiculously affordable program, by the way.
Yeah, it's going up. It will be going up. We have a slow climb. Thank you for all that. And, you know, to your point of like, I forgot the exact sentence that you said, but like for me, like I would get compliments about my body, but I would never, like on the internet, like I would never like show my body or talk about being hot. And I really had a moment where like I had to reflect on the reflection. Like, what do people actually say to me and about me? And my training partner and I started saying 𝗺𝗵 with the body. So then that's when, but we were talking about the spiritual fire. We were talking about the hot spiritual fire that has the body. So it's like, you know, and so then that's like why I like named my $1 a day membership 𝗺𝗵 with the body. And then I started to show my body, because I was like, wait a minute, like you did it. And there was part of me that was like, I was never like the dream body was always in the back of my head forever. Like even as a little child, but when in my career, it was always about being strong and healthy and all these things. So my content and how I showed up everywhere was all about my brain and what I could do for you, versus if it's in fitness, people actually do want to look nice. And like, this is always like my struggle, where it's like, I will want to teach something that's a higher principle, because I'm actually teaching people how to move energetically with the planetary shift. And then I'll get like a critique and be like, people just want to know how to lose 5 pounds. Why do you have to talk about this? And I'm like, and then another person will be like, it's not about how you look, it's about a deeper meaning. I'm like, I know.